How you been, dude? You been all right?
Yeah, I've been good.
That's
You know,
just,
the
just
same
saying.
shit as always. Just
I always-
sit in here and plot global domination. Like it's going great.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good. Well,
Yeah.
of course, the new Thy Art is Murder album, Godlike, is out on September 15, and this one is heavier and darker than previous albums for sure.
You
Like,
think so?
I think so, dude. Is everyone saying that? Is that a thing that you're getting a lot?
I don't know. I don't know if people have been saying it's heavier. Some people have been saying it's more progressive. Lots of people are saying that it's their favorite one, which I'm stoked.
Mm.
I don't know if they're just trying to, I don't know, make me happy. It's my favorite one. So
Yeah, it's really, really good, dude. It's not, I don't mean heavy in a brutal way. It's heavy as in it's weighty.
it has size to it, right?
Yes, that's
That's
exactly what
how
I'm
I
trying to
look
get
at
at.
it. Yeah.
Because
No,
Dan, who's reviewing it, we were talking about it, and he goes, "Man, like it's just we couldn't put our finger on it, and that was the only way we could say it's heavier in a weighty. It's size, yeah, size.
it's
That's
the best album anyone in Australia ever made, that's for sure.
yeah, it is great. No, it is really good. But what do you think it was that drove that direction this time? Where'd that size and that weight come from?
I think, honestly, just the time off and also the whole isolation thing, you know,
Mm,
lends itself to like having dark experiences to draw from. And also, like, time off is just good. Like, you don't do your best work when you're working 110% all the time. So, having 2 years to kind of cruise, take a break, when you come back to it, it's like, let's fucking go. Just felt like that,
man, I know what you're saying there. Because if you do, you go 110% all the time, you hit a wall, and then you're like, I don't know where. Did you find that at some point? Like you just creatively everything sort of slows down? Yeah. What was the point where you felt ready to go again?
I think it's been a great learning lesson for me in the fact that we never feel creatively sluggish. I mean, sure, from day to day or week to week, you might have a slump where it's like, I just don't have it in me today. But we've been forced to write records on very quick turnarounds. So we like to think that we're pretty professional in the fact that you could put us in the studio tomorrow and tell us we've got to write a song and we'll make one for you. But that being said, sometimes you just do need a breath of fresh air to
Mm.
come back, especially when you're working on the same project. We're all working on Thy Art is Murder records. Maybe it'd be different if we're doing different records in between and listening to different genres of music and whatnot, but we just do Thy Art. So having a break from it, super important. I think, just go and live life, hear new sounds. Also, I mean, you change every day, but
Mm.
if you make a record every day, they're going to sound closer and closer and closer together. So just having a longer break. It's like when someone kind of loses weight and you see them every day, you don't notice it. But if you don't see someone for a year and they've lost 10 kilos, you go, holy shit, you lost weight. Like, you look great. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Contrast.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, did you have ideas in your head before you went over with Will Putney? Did you have like little inklings and things that had sort of made their way into the back of your brain?
Yeah, I mean, and that started already as before Human Target even came out. Will and I started discussing like the vision for the future, what adjustments to make.
Mm,
I mean, it's one thing that I think is one of our great strengths is we're not afraid to be patient and make small adjustments, but at the same time we get criticized for it pretty often that, oh, every album sounds the same. Like if you take the first album, the most recent album, they're very, very different. And you can see those steps in between the records. For whatever reason, it doesn't seem radical enough for the uneducated listener, maybe. But we did start kind of plotting, like thinking about different, say, musical themes or movements that might be essential in scaling the band up to the next stage, whether it be slowing things down slightly, introducing groovier elements, how to adjust the choruses for greater impact. Very broad strokes kind of ideas. And then once we settle on that, then it's kind of just writing within those parameters.
And what about working with Will? I mean, you've been working with him for years. Have you found that does he crack the whip sometimes? Does he sort of, or have you got that understanding between each other where you're on the same level at all steps of the way?
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same level, but we're on different levels too. Like, he doesn't drink anymore. We used to go to the bar all the time together. So now that he doesn't drink, he's kind of lost all sympathy for those who do. And Sean and I love to go to the pub. In fact, I was trying to get out of doing all these interviews because Sean was upstairs at my place before.
Oh,
road. Instead, I'm here doing this. But no, we kind of fuck around a lot. And it's just so happened every time I've been in the studio the last 6 or 7 years, Brendan Murphy from Counterparts and End has also been at the studio. And I like fucking around, and so does he, and so does Sean. So we would take the keys to Will's car, go outside when he was doing something, and just leave and not answer the phone and get back at like 4 o'clock in the morning and be like, where the fuck did you guys go? And like, we went to the pub.
Oh,
he would let us get away with it here and there, but eventually started cracking the whip and being like, all right, boys, come on, start writing some fucking music.
Where's the riffs?
Yeah, we're pretty lazy, you know.
No.
Sean and I like to think that we're Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld, in that they never wanted the show to be successful because it would mean that they would have to do work. And we're just like, oh, really? They want another album? Like, oh, fuck. Like, when is this all going to be over?
But you can do it on your own terms now because you're releasing it all independently, right?
Yeah, we can do it on our own terms. So maybe we'll just like steer this ship into the ground.
Why not? No, don't do that.
You know? Watch it all burn.
That. You know, that's going to be all blabbermouth now. Everyone's going to be like, Andy says driving band into the ground. Don't do that.
Don't do that. No.
Don't do that because, I mean, things are, going really, really well for you guys. It's incredible, like seeing where you guys have headed over the last couple of years. Are you heading back to you?
Sure. I mean, we would have to be in the conversation for the biggest death metal band in the world at the moment, like, which is, I don't say it from like a position of ego, but a position like realization and responsibility that as we approach that top tier of bands like Behemoth, who, you know, is more black metal leaning, but I'd say they're still a death metal band, and Cannibal Corpse, Dying Fetus, and stuff like that. It's like, it comes with a sort of legacy and a responsibility to lead from the front and support the bands that come under you in that community. So it's pretty fucking nuts to think that we somehow landed here. And now we've got to carry that on our shoulders and try and take it as far as we can. Not just for ourselves, but for our genre, for the community of fans that have supported us.
Absolutely, man. I think there's been a lot of bands that have followed in your footsteps as you've come up, and you're a big supporter of those bands. You seem to take them out and tour with them and raising all the ships. If you know, has that always been something that's been important to you?
Yeah, I think so. Coming from like a hardcore background, you know, it's very much about the community and your friends and doing the right thing. So yeah, for sure. Like, a lot of bands have helped us along the way, like Parkway Drive, for instance. We've done so many tours with them. I don't even know why they keep taking us. But, you know, and that's opened a lot of doors for us. They've provided a lot of guidance and wisdom through their experience to us. And so it's our responsibility to do the same thing for others.
On the business side of things, though, do you feel that there's more pressure on you because you drive the ship? You know, do you feel jokes aside, do you feel that there is?
For sure. I mean, externally there is. I don't really feel that sort of pressure. I feel it more as an opportunity. I mean, the risk. I mean, the possibility of say an extinction level event increases. You know, there's greater risk with the larger the sums of money that you encounter and the greater responsibilities. But for me, it's just doing my job, and realistically, not much has changed. You know, the percentages are percentages, the numbers are the numbers, and just follow that information and do my job pretty diligently, and off to the races, hopefully. And cross your fingers I don't make any miscalculations, because then we could all be screwed.
I don't. You're doing so good so far, man. Like the human target stuff is, you've worked it out. You've worked out your formula, and it seems to be going quite well for you.
Hopefully, I have.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely. I mean, would you think about maybe doing a human target festival? In saying that,
I don't know. I mean, I have tinkered with the idea of doing a smaller festival. Obviously, we're lucky to have some great festivals in this country, because it comes with a massive, massive overhead of shipping the bands in here.
yes,
Flying them all in. The population's so small for the size of the landmass. Price of everything is incredibly high in this country, and it's very difficult. So I had thought about trying to do something more boutiquey and aimed specifically at our wheelhouse, like very heavy and aggressive bands, and not trying to cater to the wider market. Still don't know if we have the culture in Australia to warrant it. Like, I've looked at the numbers, and it is pretty expensive and not really doable financially at this point. But I would like to think in the next like 2 to 3 years, you'll see they try to branch out and expand like the nature of, say, a headline tour. And, maybe not enough people will pay for it now, but if we cover that cost and make those losses to build something for the community, maybe it'll be a hit, or maybe I'll just lose my ass. I don't know.
We don't want that to happen. But I get but man, I see it. And like, I'm seeing the whole genre, everything. There's something happening at the moment. And, you played Cool at a hotel like a few weeks back, man, and packed the fucking place out. That place it's difficult to get down there. And every man, his dog comes out to see you. You know what I mean? In these little regional areas, that's got to be an indication of something,
Well, I hope so. I think it's the indication of, or the validation of over 10 years of hard work and making sure that we're trying to reach out to the community, going and putting on these shows in regional areas where, oftentimes you are losing money, but you like to think that you're investing in the future of that community. Maybe you can go back next year and have a bigger show and you might make some money. So it's been a very long burn. It's something we've been doing for about 8 years now. So It's nice to see it's slowly coming around, and maybe it might not in my lifetime or in this band's lifetime, but maybe we're helping build a music culture for the future, or at least playing our part along with other bands and managers and booking agents to develop that within Australia, because we are a pretty young country and culturally we're pretty vacuous. There's not a rich history of art and culture in, modern Australia. So it is tough. We don't have that established touring circuit like the States or Europe does.
Well, hopefully it's changing, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But your production now is an insane level, full of fire and stuff like that. Are you taking that over to Europe? Because you're about to do some massive venues in Europe. How does that sort of change your plans doing the bigger venues?
It's difficult, you have to familiarize yourself with the laws of 20-something different countries and the policies and the taxes and is there restrictions on fire? Is there restrictions on laser beams? Are there restrictions on the volume of the space and how much CO2 are you able to inject into the atmosphere? Like, so many things that I just picked up a guitar like 15 years ago, man, and wanted to play riffs. Now I've got to learn about all this stuff. It's crazy. So it does come with new challenges.
Yeah.
But they're not ones that we haven't faced before. There's just a lot more of them. And, every day I'm working pretty long hours trying to figure a way out that we can put on the best show possible for our fans.
Where do you think the show is going to evolve to next? Obviously, you've got the visual aspects as well with working with Third Eye Visuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mate, those clips are insane. Are you looking at maybe bringing some of those elements, maybe a more cinematic, aspect to your live show in some ways that you've got that production?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the sky's the limit really these days in terms of production. I think you just got to look to rap and hip hop
Mm.
for sure, doing crazy things, pop as well. Even like theater and something like Cirque du Soleil has insane production. So we know that there are a lot of techniques. It just comes down to a matter of like, do we have the right people that can help us pull it off, and can we afford it? And unfortunately, like a lot of the stuff just is out of our price range. You want to put on pyro the scale of the Parkway Drive every day? That's 100 grand a day, my friend. Like I
Oh,
don't have that. And then you want to have a big LED wall the size of Bring Me the Horizon? That's 100 grand a day. Like it's so expensive. People honestly probably would be shocked to know how much we're spending on production. It's phenomenal sums and still not enough to put on the show that we would like to. So just, figuring out what is available, what we can accomplish, what we can afford, and then trying to maximize the impact in the live show. Because, we're not just getting up there and playing the songs like we used to 10 years ago, trying to create a memory for the fans and experience something that they remember, and something, for a lot of people that they could aspire to, like to try their hardest, to do their best, and reap the fruits of that labor.
absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And you mentioned before that you had, the seeds of Godlike early on.
Mhm.
Have you got a direction for your next step floating around? Have you discussed that with Will and the rest of the guys? Like a
Oh yeah, yeah,
concept?
yeah. Will and I are talking about it almost on a monthly basis. So we're just always brainstorming. I'm sure that it will get refined in the coming months as the album sees wide release and we see what works, and also as the touring comes together, understanding like how that translates. Also, what do we enjoy playing and performing? What's sustainable to perform?
Mm.
Playing fast technical music is awesome and I love it, but it is challenging technically and physically. And so we need to start thinking about, is performing to that level achievable in 5, 10, 15 years from now? And if it isn't, then we don't want to be phoning it in and putting everything on backtracks. Now's the time to start thinking about adjusting course on the music, on the tempo, on the technicality, and then making sure that we can make creative enough music that satisfies us within those constraints to, create an authentic experience in the future.
And not just let AI do all the riffing.
No, exactly.
I think
Or,
it's
put
coming.
put everything on a backing track and just hate yourself, and
Nah, you can. Nah, I don't think you guys would.
we would never do
Fuck
it.
no. Fuck no. Cannibal Corpse wouldn't do it.
No, they definitely wouldn't. I don't think they even played all click track.
Nah, they're all El Natural.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, I mean, you've got this tour coming up in Europe, and that's going to take you through to the end of the year. How can we expect to see you again down here next year at some point, or is it US and everything the rest of the world going to have their turn?
Oh, I don't know. What do you reckon? You reckon we're just going to do this tour and then retire?
No,
I'm working on stuff, man.
always.
Everyone's just got to be patient. Um, it's it's getting. I will say that putting on tours the size that we're trying to do these days comes with added complexity and more difficulty in getting people to agree to doing tours and lineups and stuff. You have to pick bigger bands, which are normally busier bands, which means they have less availability. So timing becomes an issue. Pricing becomes an issue. So I'm working on it for sure, and I'd love to get it wrapped up as soon as possible. But we are definitely working on Australia and North America, ideally in the first 6 months of next year, and then just keep this train rolling. We're going back to Europe in the summer next year, and then we got more stuff the end of next year, and then we got more stuff in 2025, and now we're starting to work on start of 2026. So
That far ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Man, I don't even know what socks I'm going to be wearing in 2 days. You
I
know?
don't know what I'll have for breakfast tomorrow, but I know what show I'm playing in September 2025. So
That's
go
nuts.
figure.
That is nuts. You're on it. You're on it. But man, it's always good to chat to you. And I hope that one wasn't too boring in the
No,
skate.
no, way more boring. You've prolonged my life by at least 20 minutes now. So maybe the next one will be
Oh,
the one that does it.
yeah, you just hey, you're not at my front door with a machete at the moment, so we're doing all right.
Not yet.
No, you're not yet. There's still time, mate.
It's still time.
There's still time. But dude, we're gonna have all the links down here to Godlike. September 15. We'll have it on the website as well. Brother, take care, and all the best to you and the boys out there on the road. Stay safe, eh?
You're a legend. Thank you very much, mate.